Hello guys and welcome to another video. So a couple of months ago when we reached 17,000 subscribers, I promised you a Q&A and I asked you guys for questions and for assumptions, and then I did absolutely nothing with them. Fast forward to several months later, we have finally hit 21,000 subscribers. It's not that meaningful of a milestone. I wanted to do this by 20,000, but I didn't have time. Some of you have almost waited 3 months to hear these answers, so I'll do my best. 1. Who is your favorite narrator out of the 5 series? Now, it will come as absolutely no surprise to you that my favorite narrator is the one, the only Percy Jackson. Not only did I grow up with him, literally I started reading about him when I was 13 maybe, and then I kept on reading and kept on reading about him, and now I'm 25.
I'm 27 years old. I've no money and no prospects. I'm already a burden to my parents, and I'm frightened.
I'm still seeing him grow. Honestly, he started 12 when I was 13, and now he's still like 16 or 17.
How long have you been 17?
A while.
But it's not only the nostalgia. I think he has the best voice, or at least the one that most aligns with my inner voice, so I really enjoy that. My second favorite definitely has to be Magnus Chase. I love him. I think he is so special, and I would really like it if Rick wrote something else from his point of view. But I am not getting ahead of myself because I know there's more questions about that topic. Number 2, what's your ranking of the 5 series? I very recently did a video where I tier ranked every single book in the Rick Riordan verse / Percy Jackson verse, but in case you're feeling too lazy to look it up, it would go Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Everything else is just irrelevant because the only thing I know for sure is that that one goes on top. Maybe Trials of Apollo last. This is so hard. King Chronicles 4th, Heroes of Olympus 3rd, and Magnus Chase 2nd, but I am not married to the idea. I might change King Chronicles and Heroes of Olympus around just because I really love Heroes of Olympus. I love the characters and I love the potential. It has so much potential. King Chronicles just delivered more. Did Heroes of Olympus have more potential? 100%. Did it deliver? No. Number 4, who's your godly parent? I am planning to make a whole video answering this question, so stay tuned for that. What is your favorite color? Great question. I am currently wearing it, and that is blue. Blue is my favorite color to both wear and to see. And it's not a Percy Jackson thing, okay? I've liked blue my whole life. Probably because in kindergarten in my school we were sorted into 3 different teams, and mine was the blue one, so I was born into it. Congrats, and you're my idol. Oh my god, thank you so much. I probably shouldn't be. That means a lot. Have you listened to the new Taylor Swift album, The Tortured Poets Department? If so, thoughts? This could not be more clearly from 2 months ago. The day it came out, I was traveling from Madrid to New York. 7-hour flight. Barely had time to listen to the album. What did I do? I just downloaded the songs on Spotify and listened to it on the plane. Did I immediately fall asleep on said plane as soon as I started the playlist? Yes, I did, because that album is perfect for snoozing. So if you ever feel like you need to fall asleep but you have to have headphones on, I recommend either Evermore or The Tortured Poets Department. Afterwards, however, I did give it a listen while I was conscious and I liked it. It's probably my least favorite of Taylor Swift albums, but it has some gems in there. Assumption. I've been waiting for this. You spend lots of time arranging and rearranging your bookshelf. You switch books around until you like how it looks, and you frequently purchase new books. Love your channel. Congratulations on the subscribers. I want to say no to this assumption just because I have a very clear aesthetic that I've built up over the years. If you look around in the rest of my room, you're like, okay, that's clearly not intended to be seen by the camera. I do probably rearrange them more than other people, but I like the current setup. I'm saying this as I just recently changed all that. And just recently added these to the mix. 7 assumptions. Let's see if I get offended by any of them. Number 1, you have a pretty big TBR pile. I would say I have a smaller TBR than 99% of booktubers. Even though I have a lot of books downloaded on my e-reader, they're not all intended to be read. They're all just there in case one day I have nothing to read. In my actual TBR, there are less than 10 books now. If I had answered this 2 months ago when you first asked, the answer would be like 20, because I was doing a reread of all the books in the Percy Jackson universe. So yes, my TBR was endless. Number 2, you like Magnus Chase more than the King Chronicles? I think it depends. If you forced me to pick one of those trilogies up right now, I would always pick Magnus Chase. But that's not to say that I didn't really enjoy the King Chronicles. Number 3, you never read more than one book at a time. That is not an assumption. That is a fact. If I can't help it, and I usually can, I do not pick up a book if I know I'm gonna have to interrupt it. I will not pick up a book for the first time at night if I don't have time. And usually I don't even pick it up for the first time in the afternoon. If I don't have a solid hour to dedicate to a new book, then I'm not reading it. If it's a reread, then for sure I'll pick it up. And even worse than that to me is having 2 books at once. I don't know how people do it. I like to be immersed in books. I like to live in the story. That is why I love to read series while marathoning them. That way I'm in the world. That way I know everything, and every single detail gets locked in here, and then everything just makes so much more sense. I feel so big-brained when I'm reading a series in order in like a couple of weeks. You are right, I could never. I don't understand it. How could I visit 2 worlds at once? It makes no sense. Number 4, you love the colors purple and blue. I'm not a very big fan of purple. Number 5, you are 5'7" or 5'8". That is a very good assumption. I am 5'8". No! Sorry for the constant lights changing. I am in no control over it. I am 5'8", which in centimeters is 1 meter 73 centimeters. Actually, I think I'm 13 or 11 centimeters above average. Number 6, your fave characters are Percy, Reyna, and Talia, and a few more. Those are some of my favorite characters, but don't you dare leave off Annabeth off of that list. She is definitely up there, maybe number 2. And number 7, you are a huge Thena shipper. Not a huge one. I support them in whatever way they choose to express their love for each other. If that's romantic, I will ship them with all my heart. If that is platonic, they will be in my heart as well as platonic besties. The fact that you say, you are such a sweet and kind person, like, please tell my family that. Please. They will not believe that someone's saying that about me. Not to say that I'm a fake person. No, no, no. Number 1, what is your ideal reading environment? That's a very good question. I am doing an experiment currently where every day of the month, I read in a different environment. Remember when I asked you this? Yeah, that's what this is about. I won't spoil anything, but I will let this slip. My bed before going to sleep. Number 2, if you had to pick which book series to erase, which series would it be? If we're talking book series and not standalone books, then 100% the Trials of Apollo. It's the most unnecessary one. Because the other ones, they all bring things to the table. Not to say that Trials of Apollo doesn't, but it brings the least amount of new things to the table. So I think it's the most irrelevant. It feels like a rehash of its 2 predecessors. You grew up reading the Percy Jackson books, and they will always be your favorite book series from Rick Riordan because of the nostalgia you have for them and when they came out in your life. If by grew up you mean from 13 onwards, then I guess yes. I guess you're like 75% right. I don't love them just because of nostalgia. I have reread them time and time again, and I honestly believe that they are objectively really, really good books, and they still make me laugh to this day. To this day! But you're right, I found them at a really special time in my life, a very crucial time, and thanks to that, I have become a reader, and I think partially I've kept some of my friendships because of being a reader, and it's helped me really grow close. And it's helped me really grow close to some people that I might have drifted apart from. I owe it so much, honestly. Number 1, favorite book other than Percy Jackson and the Olympians. I'll let you take a guess. These are my favorite books in Spanish. It's the most insane trilogy I have ever read, and it traumatized me in the best way possible. What else do I have? You might have noticed I kind of like Lee Bardugo, but singular book, I'm gonna have to say the singular book that has had the most impact in my life in my adult years has been Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. And in my formative teen years, that would have to be The Hunger Games. Do you edit or watch edits? Okay, I am going to come out and say this, and I do not want to be attacked by people because I don't want to come off like this is me attacking smaller YouTubers. There is a big section of the fandom that dedicates its efforts to creating Percy Jackson related edits. That's usually short form content, vertical content that mushes together some fun art, some pictures, and some text along with a catchy song. I have absolutely nothing against those edits. I, however, believe that I have outgrown watching stuff like that. It's not the kind of content that I consume. So no, I do not do or watch that kind of edits. However, the YouTubers who do, and I'm not calling out anyone in this, especially no one in particular, but the YouTubers who do are smaller YouTubers who from time to time, that's to say every single day that I log onto YouTube, they go on their community tab and they tag 100 YouTubers, and I'm always on there, and they ask those people who were tagged to follow them. I don't want to come off as ungrateful, but it took me a long time and a lot of effort to get to 21,000 subscribers. So the fact that day in and day out I am tagged in these community posts asking me to follow them when they don't know me and I don't know them, it just bothers me that I'm just constantly tagged in those lists, specifically when I'm the only one that has a bigger channel out of the people who are tagged. I'm the only one that doesn't make Percy Jackson edits. I'm just very confused as to why I keep getting tagged in those. I have nothing against you. I think what you're doing is fine, but personally I don't vibe with it, so please, please, please stop tagging me, okay? If you want people to follow you, create good content. I'm not saying you don't, but I'm saying that's what you should do. I'm gonna stop this rant because I could be here forever. You're one of my favorite YouTubers, so congrats on 17,700 subscribers. Thank you, thank you. That was a couple of months ago, but I'm still proud about it. Yeah, my sister saw that number and she told my cousin that I had 71,000 subscribers, so confusing amount, I guess. What is your Hogwarts house? I don't think I've ever given my Hogwarts house too much thought, just because honestly I'm not that big of a fan of the Harry Potter fandom and the Harry Potter series. But I guess if I did have to think about it, I would go with Gryffindor, and if not, Hufflepuff. I think I'm a pretty good balance of a Gryffindor, but I do identify more with Gryffindor, specifically when I was younger. Now I just want to do the whole thing with this in my hand. Which Percy Jackson character would you like to have as your sibling? Now this is a loaded question. I already have 3 siblings. Does that mean that I would exchange all of them for the Percy Jackson character, or that I would add them onto my sibling roster, which is already quite large? I don't think I would like Percy as a sibling. I'm thinking Talia because she has been Jesus. Still not gonna put it down. I'm thinking Talia because she has experience with Annabeth as an older sister, also with someone else, but I refuse to acknowledge that as an actual sibling relationship. Seeing Magnus with Annabeth as well, I think Magnus would be fun to have as a sibling. Actually, I think Magnus and I have a lot of similar interests because he liked comic books and he liked TV shows. He liked Doctor Who and Sandman. Oh my god, that's the perfect answer. And I actually think that Magnus Chase, personality-wise, is a bit similar to my brother, my younger brother, so I'm gonna go with Magnus Chase. I think he would be a very good sibling given the chance. What would be the first thing you would do if you got into Camp Half-Blood? To tell you the truth, I would be interested in just sitting there and watching people try the lava wall, because that would just seem so foreign to me. But my mind is also telling me that I would also just go to see the Pegasus, and probably one of the least dangerous things to do at Camp Half-Blood. Again, what is your favorite Percy Jackson book? But let's just pick from the Percy Jackson the Olympian series. It has to be book 5, I think I settled on. Who is your godly parent? I don't know. Please, you tell me. Let me know down below who you think it is. Once I edit one video, we will all know for sure, but until that moment arrives, and it might be a very future moment, you tell me. Would you be Greek or Roman? I would be Greek because the Romans suck. I'm gonna put down the wand before someone, mainly me, gets hurt. You are one of the best YouTubers. Thank you. Is that an assumption? No, that's a fact. Aw, thank you. I hope the comments aren't too mean to you. That's what happens when you ask for assumptions from the internet. Thank you for the amazing content. Thank you for that amazing comment.
And I love you, random citizen.
Which charter would you like to be friends with? I'm guessing that's character. I'm going to go with Clarice and Selena as a pair because I think watching their dynamic would just be very interesting. I would just be like a third wheel. I could just watch and observe them. If you have to go on a quest, who would you choose to come with you? The obvious answer is Percy, but I want to give the guy a rest. So I am gonna go with a left field kind of answer, and I'm gonna go with Leo Valdez and Piper McLean in their latest versions, and that is to say in their Tower of Nero versions. So they're both down on the dumps, they're picking themselves up, they're learning how to live in the real world for the first time, and I think just mixing them together and helping them work through their grief would just be fun. Just fun times. Light changed again. Who are your favorite minor god? I've always been a basic girly, so my favorites have always been the protagonist. If we're looking at Lore Olympus, I really liked Hecate. Surprisingly, Cupid was also really funny and nice. Hypnos is pretty cool, so maybe I'll go with him. Is Circe a minor goddess? What is she? Because now I listen to Epic and that's made me really like Circe. Would you rather Leo or Jason switch genders? I don't know what you mean by this question. Are you one of those people who ships two male characters but doesn't like dude-on-dude romances, so you make one of them a woman so you can ship them? Because that is insane. I'm not accusing you of anything. It's an honest question just for me to understand where this question is coming from. Neither of them. Is this so we can balance things out in the algo too, so it's 4 girls and 3 boys? I guess Jason would make more sense. Jasonette, Jasona, what's a female version of Jason? Jasonette and Piper would have stayed together. What cabin do you think you are in? Don't know. Who is worse, Hera or Zeus? Zeus, definitely. It's Greek mythology. If you have to question whether a man or a woman is worse, it's always going to be the man. Almost always going to be the man. If you found out Drew died, what is your reaction? Oh my goodness. Sorry. Oh my goodness. A 15-year-old girl just died. I would never be happy about it. She might be a bully, but she's still a child who has room to grow and learn, okay? Do you like romantic books? No. Your Hogwarts house is Hufflepuff. You are half right. I wonder, before I told you about my Hogwarts house, what did you think that it was? You fit perfect as a sister for Percy Jackson. In what sense though? I will take the compliment, but I don't understand it. If you were on Cap Half-Blood, you would be a bestie of Annabeth and Grover, and you would be extra trio. Of course, with Percy as your good friend, okay? Sure, I will take it. Do you like Hamilton? Finally. Charlie is an alien. Oh, Charlie is an alien. I'm an idiot. Asking the real questions. I am someone who found out that Hamilton existed in 2016, like the rest of the world, but I found out through a miraculous Ladybug animatic, and I was like, that song is so good. Like, I'm gonna find out where it's from. Oh my god, it's from a musical. Let me find all the songs, listen to them in this order, because Spotify, if you don't pay, it doesn't let you listen to an album in order. Finally, after 8 years of being a Hamilton fan, something which I'm not always super proud of, I went to New York to visit my 2 best friends there, and we all went and saw Hamilton together. And it was a very nice full circle moment for us, because I did get them into it the summer of 2016. Do you think zero doesn't exist as zero? Nothingness and nothingness is the absence of somethingness, which means it doesn't exist. Making my brain hurt, but I do think zero exists. Here, there we go, 0. My assumptions. You probably have a TBR book of over 5. Oh, so close. We just disclosed this before. It's exactly 5. You have definitely pulled an all-nighter reading almost. I stopped at like 5:30 or 6 in the morning because an hour before that, my brother, who was currently in New Zealand, texted me, and I was like, I should not be awake to receive your text. I should be sleeping. And also I did have to work the next day. So my eyes were bleeding because I had started reading from my computer at like noon. So I guess I had been reading on my computer for close to 16 hours straight. I could have kept going, but I was strong enough to say no. Bring books to social events? No. I will draw a clear line in the sand between Isaac from Heartstopper and me. I do not bring books to social events unless for some reason the social event is going to a picnic and then reading in the park afterwards. So no, I will not do that. If I go somewhere and want to be social, then I'm social. If I want to read a book, I'm staying at my house. You own more than 2 bookshelves. Technically, yes. I own this one, that one, and then one over there, and I guess the top shelf also counts. And I can see more in my future. You don't like most of Taylor's albums, but absolutely love Folklore. I think this is based on the fact that for a while the only album that I owned that you could see was the vinyl of Folklore. And to this I say, did you not watch my vlog going to see the Eras Tour Madrid Night 2? I love every single one of Taylor's albums. The Tortured Poets Department is my least favorite. You grew up reading Percy Jackson and you probably have an ongoing list in your head of all the things you want to ask Uncle Rick. I've talked to several people about this, but I'm not sure if I want to make Rick Riordan. They say don't meet your heroes, and I think that would work for both of us. I don't know if it's me being internally ashamed of still loving the Percy Jackson books 12 years after picking them up for the first time, or just really knowing that Rick just rather have like younger fans because that's the intended demographic. I don't know, something about me feels like that's a question I don't need answered. I love seeing how much your account has grown. Thank you. I love your picture. I hope that's your dog. Out of all the books you have in your house, what is your favorite? Since I already told you about actual books, like the meaning of the books, let me tell you about my favorite physical book. And yes, I'm looking over there because I have no clue what it is. I don't know if I would say this is my favorite, but physically, the Illuminae Files saga is just so pleasing to me because this, the Just Jacket, it's see-through plastic, and if you take it off, I guess this is not for everyone, but this makes me unbelievably happy. And I don't have the third one right now because my brother is currently reading it, so if you were going to type that in the comments being like, where is the third one? Why is Illuminae on there twice? That's why. My brother is a menace and he's been reading that for over a month. Do you like tea more than coffee? Maybe. I'm guessing that's like a semi-assumption, semi-question. Unfortunately, I've tried several times. I don't like either coffee or tea. The only tea that I have been able to drink is, I remember, Turkish apple tea from a store in London. What is your favorite Taylor Swift song and album? Albums, I would say it's a three-way tie between Lover, Folklore, and Red. Right now, leaning more towards Folklore. And what is my favorite song? That is so hard. But the answer has got to be All Too Well 10-minute version, Taylor's version. You've read Heartstopper by Alice Oseman, but you've never read Warrior Cats by Arian Hunter. I saw your bookshelf, so is that really an assumption? I think it's more of an observation. I have the 5 first volumes, so clearly I'm either crazy or I've read them. You've not read Warrior Cats by Arian Hunter. What was the best dream you've had? Ironically, today I dreamt that everyone was pregnant, and by the end of the dream, magically pregnant, like unexplicably pregnant. By the end of the dream, I was pregnant as well. It's not my favorite dream, but but one of my favorite dreams to date is back when I was in my heavy 17 era. I dreamt that it was snowing and we were like in a square, and then Mingyu came up behind me and hugged me from behind and put his chin on top of my head, just like poop. And yeah, that was the best dream I had today. I was so happy when I woke up. That's so cringe. Would you rather fight Percy in a sword fight or just Annabeth? Either Percy in a sword fight or Annabeth in a sword fight, or Percy in a sword fight and Annabeth just verbally. I would guess Annabeth both times, even though Annabeth verbally would really cut deep. Favorite song right now. If you go on my Spotify, the most listened to song this month and the last month and the one before is Suffering from the Epic Saga. It is so good. Every time I hear the opening, I can't help but be like, it's so good. That's me explaining. I literally have no words. It's so good, I'm speechless. It's so good. I'm going insane. When did you first heard about Percy Jackson books and how? I have a whole video dedicated to it, but long story short, I went to see the movie in theaters when it came out. Years later, I was on my computer looking up Hunger Games fan art. I found Birch Bug, my Lord and Savior. Then I saw that she also did Percy Jackson fan art. I saw the One-Way Trip, Very Hard Fall, and I was like, I have to read this. And I did. And then I understood the reference and I was like, shit. Ooh, I would like to know which countries are your subscribers from. Most of them just make logical sense because I speak in English during my videos, so most subscribers are from English-speaking countries. I would say like 45% of you are from the United States, and then we have maybe Canada, United Kingdom, definitely India, I would say is in the top 5, 100%. A lot of you are from India, shout out to you. And then Australia, then some European countries, and maybe Brazil. That's a very interesting question. I'm glad you asked it. You have pretty good taste in books. Who am I to say no to that assumption? And favorite characters, even if they aren't my favorite characters, I do like them. I think this is more of a fact than an assumption. You're just basing that off of your actual emotions. And I enjoy how you try to not hate a character who you don't like. Hinting at Rachel because you didn't like her because of Percy, but are slowly letting that go like I am. I have to say, this is another confession from me to you. Do not become accustomed to this because I'm usually not this honest. Okay, no, I'm usually honest, but I'm not this forthcoming about particular information. The fact is that I am a hater. Not always, but I tend to be a hater. However, I believe the hating should stay in your house, okay? I think if you hate something, but you know someone else likes it, loves it, or enjoys it, then you should shut your damn mouth. That's right. I believe that you may hate something or hate a character or just dislike a character, and it's okay for you to rant with the people in your life. That's totally fine. But the moment when they're like, okay, I genuinely really like this, stop tearing into it. It's not your place. Why would you want to make someone sad? Obviously, it's okay to have a civilized argument, but actually being a hater, reserve that for people who are going to be haters with you. And in my opinion, reserve that for real life conversations. 1, there's nuance. 2, you know the people that you're talking to. I don't think you should be a hater online unless that thing specifically deserves actual hate. If it's a random character who just doesn't click with me, hasn't done anything like super wrong, hasn't massacred a bunch of kids, then that's fine. Like, I can hate on Rachel or on Jason like I did before, and it literally hurts no one. But I keep that mostly at home or just here for jokes. But I will never come to your house and talk badly about your favorite things in front of you. Never. It's okay to be a hater as long as you're with other haters in the real world. Online, don't be a hater. Don't interact. Unless it's with my video, so please comment down below what's been your best or worst hater moment online. Name is pronounced like Young Willow. Hello, Young Willow. Question, have you ever got into any of the Rick Riordan Presents books? I really like Arusha, also the Dragon Pearl. I did read the first Arusha book, and honestly, that mythology was very intense, very intricate, very detailed, and I did not know anything about it, so it was very hard for me to get into. Also, the fact that it wasn't written by Rick Riordan. So honestly, I think that was just a bit too middle grade. Since it held no nostalgia for me, I just let it go. I never picked up anything else. Assumption, you love your friends, but a lot of the time, a good hyperfixation, reading an elf is just as good as hanging out with them. Honestly, I love hyperfixations. I really get hyperfixated on things, specifically books and characters and maybe fanfics, but being with my friends is always going to be better than that because I value quality time over anything else. Having that actual real connection with someone else is always going to prompt a hyperfixation. If I can share my hyperfixation with my friends, that is like the best thing in the world that can happen to me. Whenever I bring them to the dark side or they bring me to their dark side, I'm like, yes, please, let's share this craziness and this intensity together. But being with my friends is more than enough, especially because I've had long distance friends since forever. When I'm with them, I want to be with them. They become my hyperfixation. I love your videos and I hope your channel reaches the heights you wish. I just want to get the 100,000 subscribers quick. After that, I can die happy. How long did it take you to read Heroes of Olympus? That is a loaded question. I would say maybe 3 years because I believe I started reading it in 9th grade, and by the time I started reading it, we only had maybe up until Son of Neptune, and then the summer afterwards, between 9th and 10th grade, Mark of Athena came out. I might be getting the dates wrong, but I know that I read Mark of Athena over that summer. Okay, maybe the dates are wrong because I definitely remember that I read House of Hades as soon as it came out in 10th grade. I remember because my friends spoiled the Nico Cupid scene for me. And then Blood of Olympus came out when I was in 11th grade. I remember because I got the book in the mail when I was living at my grandfather's house. So yeah. It definitely took 3 school years. So when I reread them this summer, it took me under a month. How old were you when you started reading Percy Jackson? No clue, but it's either 13 or 14. How did you discover Rick Riordan? I guess I discovered him when I looked at the book and it said Rick Riordan on the cover. What book are you currently reading? I brought this into my room specifically in case this came up. I am currently reading The Raven King, which is the second book in the All for the Game trilogy, which is now technically a 4-book series, but that might just be a part of a new trilogy that Nora Sokovic is writing. If you don't know about this book series, then your life is probably happier than mine. But also, no, I guess, yeah, just happier. I read these for the first time last summer, and this summer I really wanted to do a reread, but I was doing my Percy Jackson readathon, so I've just been craving these for 3 months, and I'm currently reading them, and look, I've never done this. I am annotating everything. I'm annotating the shit out of this because I am planning on making a deep dive into this series. So if you're interested in that, keep a lookout. Oh, it's completely split. Do you like POV books? Why or why not? I'm guessing you mean multiple POVs. I absolutely love those, especially when it's like the two people in the romantic relationship. I specifically really like Carry On, which is here. There's some great moments between Bass and Simon having dual POVs in this first book, let me tell you that. But from time to time, I do like just having one POV because it makes you wonder what the other people are thinking. Neil, who is the protagonist in All for the Game, is a very unreliable narrator, and it's so fun to just follow him and be in his head all the time. Well, maybe not fun, but definitely interesting. What is your favorite line in the entire series? The one that always comes to mind, obviously, is
Look!
I didn't want to be a half-blood.
But the one that I usually apply to my life, and it always makes me see the light at the end of the tunnels when I'm at my lowest low, is, but things could always get better. It's 6 little words spoken in one of the last conversations that Annabeth and Percy have before they start dating. Literally moments before they share their first official kiss. Percy talking about why he refused immortality. Things could always get better. And I hold that near and dear to my heart because it gives me hope for the future. Sometimes you're like, things are just gonna get worse, but things can always get better. I was looking at the comments for help, and Forrest said your height, so I think you're 5'5". I have a bit of a height complex, even though, as I said, I'm way above average, but I don't know, maybe that's why. Assumption, you don't live in the US. You would be correct. I have never lived in the US. The longest I've lived in the US has been for 2 months in Tampa, Florida, but I don't count that as living there. I currently live, and probably will live for the rest of my life, or at least like most of my life, in Madrid, Spain. Do you prefer Percy Jackson over any other Rick Riordan series? Obviously. You had a hard time picking between Solangelo and Perciveth as your favorite ship. I did absolutely not have a hard time at all. Nostalgia might be a strong factor, but also the fact that we get to see absolutely every single bit of development between the two while being inside their freaking heads. Do you do any sports? I do, or at least I did. Mostly lately, at least in the summer, I really got into Frisbee. It is so fun. Sometimes it hurts because you're just like going like this all day long, but it is so fun, especially at the beach where you can do like cool jumps and it doesn't hurt if you fall. Speaking of falling, my cousins got me into spike ball over the summer, which is also fun. I love swimming, and I also did badminton, volleyball, and baseball. Those are like my top. In which languages do you read books? Only English or also Spanish? I read mostly in English because I read mostly books written by Americans or British people. I guess mostly Americans. So I like to read books in their original language, so that's why I read them in English. However, I do follow some Spanish authors, so that's why I have those in Spanish. Have you watched the Lightning Thief musical? I have. No, why did I lie? Oh my god, I haven't. That is the right that's the right answer. Not even the slime tutorial, if you know what I mean. I have listened to it countless times at this point, but I have never physically gone. However, when I saw that the Lightning Thief, the musical, was coming to London, I was like, I need to get tickets and go to London like right now. And my brother was like, okay, sure. Like if you invite me to dinner there, I will go with you. So that's it. I'll pay for his dinner when we're there, but we're going together in January. So I'm very excited about that. Might do a video if you ask nicely. Did you read Race to the Sun and did you like it? I did not, sorry. What cabin would you want? What cabin would you want to be head counselor of the most? Probably Aphrodite, because from the books they're the cleanest, so we would always get like shower privileges. Definitely not Hermes Cabin or Hypnos Cabin. I could also go with Hades just because it's very low maintenance. I was gonna say Athena, but with all their hyperfixations, I think they would be just too messy, and Ares is out of the question. So I'm sticking with my gut. I would go Aphrodite. Most underrated Rick Riordan book. Probably any Magnus Chase book. Or The Serpent's Shadow. Probably any King Chronicles books. Are you excited for Heartstopper Season 3? See, this is why when I ask questions, I should answer them the moment that I get them, not 2 to 3 months later. Because now I've already watched all of Heartstopper. To answer you, back then, yes, I was really excited. Now, I'm still very excited about it. And I actually really enjoyed it. I assume you're a super cool person. Again, this isn't an assumption, it is a fact. Objectively, I am pretty uncool when I'm with a lot of people, but individually, one-on-one, I think I'm pretty decent. Who needs to be cool anyway? That Percy shipper says I'm a Roman kid. I mean, sometimes I feel like you kind of give off that vibe. What does that mean? Like, not in a bad way. No, it's not hate. I'm just curious. What does that mean? Did anyone you know grow up during a certain time in Spanish? Oh, it's this question. In Spanish history you hate talking about, considering who was ruling the country at that time. You don't actually have to answer this since it might be too political. In case you don't know, Spain was in a dictatorship last century. My grandparents and my parents grew up in a dictatorship. So that's fun. Do you hope they cut out Luke's relationship with Annabeth? I do. It wouldn't be like the worst thing for her to have a crush on him. I think that's completely natural and healthy and not illegal. But I think that they should absolutely cut the fact that there's any nuance that could hint at him having feelings for her in that way. Have you ever considered doing a video talking about each Percy Jackson, the Olympians, and Heroes of Olympus characters' political beliefs, similar to Thomas Theored's video on TTTT characters? No. Do you think Disney could do a crossover between Percy Jackson and other one of their shows, such as PF or something? Is PF Phineas and Ferb? Am I missing something? If Percy and Annabeth had children, what would they name them? Hint, not Chiron, Dionysus, Jackson. Okay, I get the dig at J.K. Rowling because I 100% agree. The fact that he's called, I know his name, Albus Severus Potter, illegal. Chiron isn't as bad. Are there books you can't stand or dislike? I cannot stand the 100 trilogy. So bad. What is something you like but everyone else dislikes? You know, honestly, my sense of humor doesn't land with everyone, but I love it. I think I'm hilarious. What do you dislike but everyone else likes? Probably Reputation. If the Peter Johnson movies continued, how much worse would they get? I'm honestly not sure it could get any worse, but I'm afraid to even say that. I would have wanted them to continue just to have that experience, you know? I'm just so curious as to what that third and final movie might have looked like. I wouldn't even have cared that it wasn't a good movie because they would have still made the show. So I'm like, just give it to us. Social experiment or whatever. I would love to know what you think about the Percy Jackson Heroes of Olympus characters. They're okay. Honestly, I love Nico D'Angelo and would enjoy your opinion on them. I like Nico D'Angelo. I have 2 videos talking about the characters specifically in those series, so go watch them. You will enjoy them. I go in depth into all of them. What cabin do you think you are in? I am in the Desperation cabin. Do you think that there should be a book series in the Riordanverse based on East Asian folklore? I am very highly against this idea. Rick Riordan writes mostly about what he knows, and that's what he's best at. He has no freaking clue about East Asian folklore, and I don't think he has to have any clue about that because now he has Riordan Presents, where he has authors that really know their shit writing stories like this. My assumption is you are a Stardew Valley or Harvest Moon player. Honestly, I absolutely get this vibe that you're getting. I think I should play Stardew Valley. I think it fits my vibe. I did have a long period of time where I played Animal Crossing New Horizons and I really enjoyed it. And I think in Stardew Valley you can like romance people and that's really my vibe, so I might look into that. What was your reaction to, spoiler, Jason's death in Burning Maze? It was this. I assume you're around 5'6" or 5'7". Okay, that's not too bad. That's still average. But I'm 5'8". Let the record show. This is how tall I am. This is an accurate representation of my height. You have a lot of friends. That's nice. I don't, but that's still nice of you to think that. Specifically because this last year and a half, I've had a lot of friendship breakups. Not because of me, honestly. You've never been to Japan. I haven't, but I am going next year. What a weird assumption to make though. You really like aquatic animals, like the average person would, I guess. Also, you watch anime or read manga. Ha! double whammy, I do both. Though I don't think I've watched a new anime in a while. What made you decide to make this channel? That's a good question. Probably answered this before, but if you see when I created my channel, yeah, it was 2020. It was probably during or before my final exam season in university, and Rick, literally the day before I created my channel, he announced that he was in the talks with Disney Plus to look at greenlighting a Percy Jackson TV show. So I was like, hold my beer. It wasn't beer and it still isn't. Hold my water. Let me create a YouTube channel just in case I want to talk to the people about it, because I had to talk to someone about it and we had already been quarantined for 2 months. So I was like, it's time. I assume you will defend some wild ships if it means others will stay intact. What does this mean? And your ship Fiero chased too much. I think I'd ship them just enough, but still in a good way. From all the books you have read by Uncle Rick, do you think that he should do a book collaboration where all of the book series come into contact with each other? Like how Magnus and Magnus Chase and the Ship of the Dead, how Percy and Annabeth meet with Magnus and Alex. Do you think that the Percy Jackson characters, the Magnus Chase characters, and the King Chronicles characters should come into contact with each other in one big book? If Rick insists writing more books in this universe, I think that what he should do is just wrap it all up in one massive, explosive, expanded universe collaboration. I don't know where the sentence is going, but where they all show up. I don't know how the POVs would work, but I just want like a 1,000-page book. Maybe not, maybe like 700-page book where they all combine forces to just stop Armageddon. That's all I want. It's not that much to ask, but let it be the final book. Do you have a boyfriend? Does it look like? I do not. Are you American? I am both insulted, but mostly I feel like this is a compliment to my accent. So I'm not American. I am European. Specifically, I am Spanish. If you think I'm American, it's because I've lived 4 years in England. 3 of those years, I went to an American school. How long has it been since you read Percy Jackson? The whole extended universe series, 2 months, but Percy Jackson specifically, probably like 3, maybe 4 years. And can you listen to the rest of the epic musical? How do you know I haven't? That's a weird comment to make. I have listened to all of it. Are you part of the LGBTQ plus community? It's so funny to me how many of you just ask me like straight up, and I'm not offended by it, but I'm like, is it normal to just go up and ask someone about their sexuality? Would you just ask me if I was a random stranger? I'm kind of like neutral about it, but also kind of like, should you be asking me that? Also, are you asking me that because I give off a vibe? This is me rambling, getting into my head now, but I'm like, do I give up LGBTQ plus vibes? Is that what it is? Also, if I do, please let me know why. Is it the earrings? It might be the earrings. Yes, you have multiple lists of books you thought sounded cool, but you never got. I'm organized, so I just have one list of those. I feel like you would be a daughter of Hecate, Apollo, or Athena. I don't know why I'm getting Apollo so much. Is it because of that one video I did? Or is it because you actually genuinely believe that I give off Apollo daughter vibes? Please let me know in the comments. I love when people psychoanalyze me. Hecate though, why? I wish you would like back it up with an argument. Like please give me a thesis, give me 2 supporting paragraphs and a conclusion. Percibeth or Solangelo, Percibeth all the way. I've assumed for a while that you're Spanish. Am I slow or just plain wrong? It's interesting to me that you would assume this because I understand knowing that I'm not American. Can you really hear the Spanish accent? Because I don't think you can. I guess you can pinpoint my accent being European, but the fact that you actually assume I'm Spanish without remembering that I've actually said this, I'm interested in knowing why. You're not wrong. But I have said this before. You hate Frank. I do not, okay? I think he's probably one of the most boring characters, but I have grown and have come to love him now after my latest reread. I think he's much better as a side character. When he's in someone else's POV, I'm like, yeah, Frank, all the way. When it's his own one, I'm like, I thought you were 15 and from America, lol. Flattered, I guess? 15? Why don't you do movie reviews anymore? And are you sure you're 24? I'm sure I'm 25. It's funny when people say like, why don't you do movie reviews anymore? I'm sure I've done like 3 total. I'm sure that the only movie reviews I've done are Shang-Chi. Then I also did Red, White, and Royal Blue and Doctor Strange. 3. I do movie reviews when I'm really, really passionate about it. I love how people keep putting questions instead of assumptions. I love that as well. I bet you love ships with characters you don't really care about and hate most ships that have one of your favorite characters and a character you don't have much an opinion on. Interesting. No, I don't love ships with characters I don't love. I might think they're funny or interesting as crack ships, but I will not invest my time if I don't love both characters. Usually, when I ship two characters together, it's because I love them both individually and I think they love each other. So that's usually what my favorite ships are. But yeah, I don't like a ship if it's a character I like and then someone I don't like. You are from or live in Spain, right? On both fronts. I assume you're short and you didn't even spell York correctly. I'm sorry if this is offensive. I don't mean it offensive. I think by saying that we're assuming that being short or being called short is offensive. And to me it is, but it's not bad to be a short person, so it shouldn't be. Wait, is there some special significance to 17,700? No, there's not. But we reached 17,000 and I forgot. And then we reached 17,700, I forget how to say numbers in English. And then I was like, okay, I should do it, but I can't say we just reached 17,000 because we're not at that anymore. So I'm gonna say the truth, and it made people very confused. And now we're not even there. We're at like 21,600 or something. By the time this comes out, it might be a celebration for 22,000. So this is a mess, and I can't believe it's taken me 5,000 subscribers almost to make this video. Can you do a giveaway? What do you want me to give away? I'm already giving away parts of my soul in videos like this. I'm already giving you my time, my effort, and my eyes and my hands. What else do you want? Spanish nationalist. Tell us your favorite pizza toppings or something. No, I assume that you're going to regret this. So funny that this one just came out after that one. You're pregnant. Does that mean I'm pregnant with Greg? Bye, Greg. I'm not pregnant, but this is so weird because I had seen this one before, but now seeing it after the dream I've had tonight, like when I was pregnant suddenly, that's weird. You seem like you have an addiction to coffee and it's like bad, lol. Do I come off as like very energetic in these videos? It's because I want to be entertaining, so all of my energy of the day is reserved for when I'm talking to the camera. Because if you've never tried talking to a camera for more than 1 hour, you won't understand it, but you need the energy to keep you alive, because right now I feel like a deranged person. A deranged person! All I drink is water, buddy. I don't drink coffee at all. I'm an intense person, I'm very passionate, and that might come off less like a coffee addiction to you, but it's really not. I'm going to divide this video in two, I think, so stay tuned for part 2 with your latest questions. Please leave a like if you like this video, comment down below your favorite pizza topping. Subscribe if you haven't already. Click that bell button to get notifications every time I post a new video. I post videos just like this every single week, and I guess I'll see you guys next time. Bye!